Hello and welcome to another Yeldy Battle Apps hobby report. This is the second one for me. This is another captain off, so it's a second captain off, and this is the Ultimate Showdown one. This is Veteran Rage against Blackheart. So, like my other captain versus captain video, where I talked about Midas versus Smoke, this is not going to be just a comparison of their cards and their stat lines and things. It's going to be me using them on the table and how I feel they can be used, and things that have worked and haven't worked, etc. Like my other one, I will be honest with you now, this is going to be slightly biased. My last one was biased in favour of Smoke because I prefer her. This one's going to be biased in slightly, I think, in favour of Veteran Rage, because I just prefer using him. So I'll talk about why, how I found using him, how I found using Blackheart. So I'll quickly run through the comparisons of their cards, but it's not something I'm going to dwell on very much. So they have the same move, although Blackheart obviously has Shadow-like, so he's got a slightly further move really. Veteran Rage's got a higher attack, their kick is very similar, Rage has just got 2 dice rather than 3, and then Blackheart is 3, defense, armor 2, and Rage is 4 and 1, so I think that kind of cancels each other out. I think that's pretty, it's the same, and Veteran Rage's got 1 more point of health. Veteran Rage brings less influence and can hold more, but you know, with the free charge, that's generally speaking quite irrelevant, I think. And their playbooks, Blackheart has that huge advantage of a momentous dodge on 1, so he's impossible to hold down in position because he can Shadow-like hit you once and he's almost guaranteed to get that 1 hit, then dodge out and move wherever he wants. That's a big advantage for him, I think. Well, I haven't found it too big of an issue for Raid, because I usually find that if I hit someone a couple of times, I'm able to push them far enough away that I can then charge in again and hit them, or charge someone else, or knock them down, etc. So I don't usually find that too difficult. So that's really it. That's all I'm going to talk about in terms of their stat lines and things. I'm not going to dwell on their playbooks per se until I start talking about using them on the tabletop. The character plays, I've never really seen anyone use Misdirection from Blackheart. It's an expensive play for influence just to ever so slightly mess up 1 influence from someone. You take an influence from an enemy model and allocate to a friendly model. So it's kind of useful, but it costs you 4 and you're only really gaining 1. So I don't see very many people using that. Commanding Aura is obviously awesome. Particularly good for him, being on, it's on 4 hits and it's momentous, so that is really good for him. But then Rage's got Red Fury, which I use quite a lot. Sometimes he's unable to get to someone, but someone else is already in combat, so I simply sprint him up and then they can attack someone 3 or 4 times because it only costs 1. Quick Time is useful, particularly if someone's trying to get out of your charge range from him, because he's particularly scary on the charge. So I've often been able to use that to then gain that extra distance to charge. And then Concussion, well, that's obviously on his playbook. I do use that. I used it quite well actually in the last game I played, though I didn't use the momentous result. I used the non-momentous result, which is on, I don't know if that'll focus or not, on 7 hits. It's not going to focus. It's okay. On 7 hits, he's got 3 damage and concussion, and I used that when I charged, who did I charge with it? Charged Casket in a game I was playing, and actually managed to take 2 influence off him, as well as deal a lot of damage, because he was engaged by one of my players as well. I'll quickly flip over to the other side. Blackheart's very simple, he only has 1 trait, which is Shadow-like, which is, you know, Shadow-like is awesome, it's really useful, and for Blackheart it works particularly well with his 2-inch melee. You know, even if he's engaged base to base with someone with a 2-inch melee, he shadow-likes to the edge of that, hits them once, dodges, then he can move wherever he wants after that. So he's generally, I would say, impossible to hold down, in the same way that Obulus is really hard to hold down as well. And if you're not sure, he can always just pop his legendary anyway and do a 2-inch dodge. So, you know, he's very slippery. Whereas Rage, he's got a lot more character traits on him. And generally speaking, I think that they stack up to be more useful. Furious is obviously great, getting that free charge off. I mean, even if he doesn't manage to get it off in a turn, I find that the threat of it is just so scary for your opponent because they just really do not want him to charge in, that they'll try and tie him up, and that usually frees up other players as well. So the threat of it, I think, is almost as useful as the trait itself when you actually get to use it. Usurper is always good, gets +1 attack against other Union. I haven't yet had a chance, unfortunately, to use a veteran Rage Union team against another Union team, because that would be awesome. You just get +1 attack against everyone. But I have managed to use it before when he's attacked Union players in teams. In fact, there was one occasion where he was attacking Mist, the opposition had Mist, and he was ganged up, and I was able to use his heroic first. So he was getting +3 attack before he'd even charged. So he was able to, he popped his heroic, charged in, and I think he had 14 dice on the charge. So that was pretty horrific for him. He took out Mist, I think, in about 3 hits. Just did so much damage. And the last one on his trait is Rising Anger, which is, again, it's just fantastic. I love Rising Anger. It just really annoys your opponent. They're just so worried about hitting him with any damage that you just get the momentum. Particularly good if someone's, charged you, hits you. If you haven't got any momentum, particularly first activation of the turn. So I've had it before, for example, where Cosset has charged him, done damage, he's then got momentum. I was able to counter-attack on the next one and push her away so she couldn't attack anymore. And then she was also, I activated next and charged her. So Rising Anger is just, it's one of those really useful traits that you tend to get off in a lot of turns. You tend to get Rising Anger off at some point. Blackheart obviously hasn't got heroic play, so I can't compare, but Rage's heroic play is pretty horrific. Does take a bit of setting up. You have to have a friendly guild model engaging them. I don't tend to find that too difficult to achieve, at least twice in a game. +1 attack, +1 damage to playable damage result. It essentially counteracts the commanding aura from Blackheart, which is great. So he can still get that +1 attack, +1 damage if he wants to, without having to spend any influence or without having to do an attack first. And then his legendary means everyone gets it, and it took me about 3 games to realise that also means he gets it for free. So now I often use his legendary play early on, just so that he gets his bloody coin for free without having to spend momentum, which is just fantastic. It's very frustrating for your team when you're at your opposition when they think, oh, it's okay, he can't use heroic, he hasn't got any momentum. Oh, wait a second, no, he'll charge in with his legendary and he'll get it anyway. And that 6-inch aura of bloody coin is great. And again, I used it quite well in a game I played recently. I charged him in on, I think it was Casket, done a lot of damage. I popped his legendary as well, and then Decimate was able to come in, get +1 attack, +1 damage, and get the, of course, additional attack for ganging up. So she was on 8 dice standard. I think Casket had been knocked down, so he was 2s and none against Decimate, and she just destroyed him, which was pretty awesome, just getting wraps all over the place, and I ended up with about 10 momentum as well. So I do think his heroic and legendary are really useful. The legendary doesn't always benefit other models, I have to say, it's often just him, but I still think it's worth doing it, even if it just means that you get that guaranteed takeout on someone, because that is really his main focus, really. Veteran Raid is just, he just destroys people if he wants to. In terms of how I use them on the tabletop, in Blackheart, I guess, has more going for him in the sense that he's more adaptable, he can move around more, which I like. He's better with the ball than Rage is. Like, I have scored a goal with Rage before, which was quite fun. So Rage can score, he's got the same range on his kick. He technically has the same threat range, standard movement threat range with quick time in terms of against a goal. So he can score a goal, but that's not really what I use him for. In a team with veteran rages, you've really got to take Decimate and Mist, and they're your goal threats. So it doesn't really matter. I tend to take Gutter as well. With Blackheart, my main issue with Blackheart is I essentially find him to be a bit dull. He's not as good at taking people out as Rage is. Also because Rage has got momentum on the first 6 of his playbook. He's got momentum on all of them. So he's just he can just get as much momentum as he wants. Whereas Blackheart, he's got the momentous dodge on 1, but his next momentous result is on 4. And with 6 attacks, it's not actually that easy to get off with someone with armour. If you send someone 4-1, you're tending to get that 2 damage and the 1 and the dodges, but they're non-momentous, so he doesn't get momentum as easily as Rage does. Rage, you just guaranteed it on every single hit, really. In fact, quite often with Rage, I end up going for on his playbook, which is here. I'll go for that momentous 3 damage and the push rather than the 4 damage, just to make sure I get the momentum as well. That means you can bonus time things later. So Veteran Rage is definitely better, I think, at just guarantee takeout. I mean, he can just, aside from the very high health, gluttonous mass, tough hide players like Esther's, or obviously he'd struggle against someone like Smoke because he can't charge her because he's unpredictable and obulous and Midas, but he's taken out Hammer for me before in 1 activation. He's taken out Ox easily in 1 activation. He's taken out Fillet in 1 activation. Almost any captain that hasn't got tough hide or gluttonous mass, he can just destroy. And any other player, absolutely no problem. Again, yeah, he might have a bit more trouble with someone like Fang 2, just take a little bit longer, but he just does so much damage when he wants to, and he's just a lot more fun. I mean, I haven't taken Blackheart to a tournament. I've taken Rage to a tournament, and I won 3 out of 4 games and came 4th. With Veteran Rage, I got a 12. I've won 12-0 before. I've only lost, I think, 1 game with him, 2 games maybe. So I do definitely prefer Veteran Rage. And a simple comparison of the models. Let me just see if I can zoom in a bit more on the models that I've painted. Would have been easier if I picked that up, but it's not focusing. Okay, I'll show you when I zoom out. With the models, I don't know a single person anywhere who says that they don't think Veteran Rage is one of the best models that Steamforge has produced. This is my one. He's got very sort of dark colours on him. You can't see very well on this camera, unfortunately. But I did win Best Painted Team with him, which was quite fun. In the last tournament I went to, that was the one I came 4th in, and I also won Best Painted Team, so that was good. Lovely, easy model to paint as well, and actually quite easy to make him look really awesome. Whereas I'm not as big a fan of the Blackheart model. I do like the Kickstarter Blackheart, but I'm not willing to scour eBay for an expensive model like that when I've already got one. So, I mean, as with any, obviously, with any videos like these, really your test of which one you'd prefer is using them yourselves. I personally do prefer Veteran Rage. I think he's more fun to use. I think he's got almost got more going for him. You know, he's actually got a very similar goal threat to Blackheart, but he can kill people better. He is more fun to use. He can still benefit his own team really well with Bloody Coin, with Legendary Bloody Coin, and with Red Fury, and with Quick Time. He's still got all that going for him as well. So it's not like Blackheart is the better team player. I think Veteran Rage is just as good as team player as Blackheart. So Blackheart Legendary is exceptionally useful. Everyone make a 2-inch dodge. You can just move your whole team around, and that's really good. I don't know anyone ever uses the +1 defense for it. Everyone uses the 2-inch dodge, and that is really good. But I just think he's a bit dull. He's really boring. He's not an exciting person to have on the pitch. He's not an exciting person to face. Everyone hates him. I think people hate Blackheart almost as much as they hate Obulus and Midas. Whereas no one really hates Veteran Rage, maybe because the model is so cool and his fluff is so cool. The image of him just taking out Blackheart and then gutting the snake is just, everyone loves that as well. Really more than I say, really. Like I said, he's worked really well for me. He's also worked really well with his Red Fury before. I've been able to make Mist attack someone and then get where they go and run off somewhere, and then been able to go and score a goal next activation. So I do find him really useful. I think he's got a lot going for him. I think he's just as competitive in terms of tournament play as well. You know, he's people have won tournaments with him, and he's really worth having a go with. That's pretty much all I'm going to say on this at the moment. I think this is obviously before any Season 3 alterations have come out. So if you're watching this after the Season 3 alterations, I do apologise. I'm sure that one or both these players may have changed a little bit. I'm expecting that Blackheart will have changed a bit. I don't know if Rage will, because he was Season 2, and I think he's pretty solid as he is, and I don't think he's particularly overpowered either. So we'll see what happens with that. Okay, thanks a lot for watching, and see you next time.